Thank you for joining us today, Alex. We're so excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
we're excited to chat with you today.
So to start it off, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the industry?
Yes. So I live in Blaine, and I am married to my husband, Derek. We have a young son named Max. He just turned 7, which is crazy.
Cute age.
I know, but they grow up fast.
I know.
People used to say that all the time, and I get it now. So we have 2 boxers, crazy boxers, Toki and Richard.
Cute.
They're
So
fun to have
cute.
around.
I love those
Yeah.
names.
Yeah, Max picked that one out, Richard. So, yeah. So we, like I said, we live in the Blaine area, and I've been in the industry since 2013.
Wow.
Okay.
I was doing it kind of part time to start with, and I dove in head first. My first full year in 2017.
Was there something significant that made you decide I'm going all in?
Yes. So having my son.
Okay.
So when I graduated high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like most people don't.
Yep.
And I actually went to Aveda. So I did hair.
Okay.
Did hair for, since graduating all the way up until 2016. But in the meantime, between 2013 and 2016, I was doing hair and real estate just kind of part-time. Mm-hmm. So I would sell like 2 or 3 homes a year.
Okay.
And then got pregnant, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, I'm over the hair scene. I knew it was never a long-term thing, but it was just a matter of when am I going to jump ship, so to speak, and dive in head first. So after having my son, that was it.
Yeah.
So went in full-time, and I've been full-time ever since, and things have only escalated from there.
They sure have.
Right.
And for those of you that don't know Alex, she has a very strong presence on social media. And so one of the things we want to talk about today is how did you get started doing your social media?
Yeah. Well, kind of going back to the fact that I started in hair, I was a very introverted person. I think I still kind of am, but I was the person who would go to work, and then I would go home and sit on my couch and eat Ben & Jerry's and have no social life. So,
sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm an introvert. So I had to figure out a way to let friends and family know that I was transitioning from doing hair and jumping into real estate. Mm-hmm. So I had to kind of create an audience, essentially, and I looked at that as an easy way to get that started. So
right.
I was very uncomfortable, in starting that. But, again, it's only escalated.
So did you start like a real estate page, or did you use your existing social
personal
media and say, hey, this is me now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I do not recall ever having a business page. In fact, I have always only used my personal page. I kind of looked at having a personal page and a business page as redundant and hard for people to kind of follow.
Right.
So I felt like just having one allowed people to see that I was, jumping into real estate, in addition to I think it's good to let people get to know you from a personal standpoint too.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Not just from a business standpoint.
Yeah,
So,
people want to work with people they feel like they know.
they can relate to.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to have a mix of those 2 things on your page.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. So how have you then used social media to grow your business? Because I feel like that's a struggle that a lot of people can have, is like they get an Instagram page, they still post stuff on it, but they have trouble with like growing from there or like converting from there.
Right.
Well, the biggest thing is just to stay consistent. So like I can't tell you how many days I wake up and I'm like, I just don't want to be on social media, because it is, I think most people can relate to the fact that it can be draining, it can be exhausting. But I look at it as part of my job, because that's me going out there and trying to get business. So being consistent has created recognition. And so because of that, constantly popping up in people's feeds, it keeps me top of mind, essentially.
Yeah. Right.
And has them reach out to me. So I've you're in a way proving to your audience that you're an expert in the industry, day in and day out.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Consistency is key. People always say it.
Yes.
And I feel like sometimes people say that they have certain days where they're feeling really on. They're feeling
Yeah.
good, right?
Yeah.
So then they switch their outfit a couple times, do a few different videos, and
Yeah.
like just bang it out,
Yep.
because there are days where you wake up and you're just like not in the right mood.
Right.
Woke up on the wrong
exactly.
side of the bed
Yes.
kind of feeling.
Yep. And I'll be honest about that too. I'll say, like, I'll be real with people in that way. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not in it today, but here I am still. So,
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is that something that you do, is like batch create content all in one day, or do you just like take videos as you go?
I fly by the seat of my pants when it comes to social
I
media.
can tell, and I like that
do.
though.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
it.
I know that there
Yeah.
are so many agents out there that do just that. Like they batch their content so that it kind of frees up their week. But I'm not. To me, the content that I'm creating is where it's thought out and specific to like what I have going on that day, or maybe
Yeah.
a challenge that I encountered, or just a good point that I think of that specific day, like yesterday eating peanut butter in my
Yeah.
car, having that thought come up, you know. So
Yeah.
so no, I really don't pre-plan any of my stuff. It's just on a whim, or if I know I need to do a video or I need to post to my story to keep my audience engaged. No, I fly by the seat of my pants.
I love that though,
know.
because not that batch creating content is inauthentic or anything. It's still authentic, but I feel like that flying by the seat of your pants creates that many more
Yeah.
content
Yep.
opportunities too, because so many things just naturally come up throughout the
Yes.
day that you're like, oh, I could make a video answering this question,
Yeah.
or like this is a situation that I haven't experienced before. Like I'll talk through it and
Yeah.
like share it with people.
It creates authenticity, I think, in your posts. You know, I think
Yeah.
I do not have a TikTok, but I know a lot of people in the industry do, and I don't do those videos where it's kind of like that pre-recorded background, and then
Yeah.
you know, because everybody's doing that, right? So like I try to veer away from stuff
Yeah.
like that and post things that are kind of authentic to me and my business
And who you
know?
are.
Right,
Like you
exactly.
just are who you are.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I suppose
exactly.
those are probably easier to do.
Right.
Hit record, say what you're thinking, then
Right.
pre-plan the whole thing
Yeah.
and match up your
Yep.
words to the background.
Is that
Yeah.
something that's become a little bit more challenging as social media has become more of a common tool for people to use for marketing? Because if you started like kind of right when you transitioned into the real estate business, I feel like, I mean, people were on social media,
Yeah.
but it wasn't as commonly used. So is that kind of a way that you differentiate yourself from other people, or like has it been more difficult, or what does that kind of look like as more people are using it?
I think I've remained pretty consistent with how I do it. I've never thought about or looked to really change it. It's kind of funny if you were to take all my videos that I've recorded from like my very first video
Yeah.
on day one to like the one I filmed yesterday, they're so different. And I would say I went through like a transitional phase where it's like, okay, my very first video was at an open house. I didn't wipe off my lens, so it was blurry. I
Yeah.
was super shaky, and I didn't smile. And so I look back at that now, and I'm like, it's funny, but
Yeah.
that was how I started. Was nervous, a nervous wreck, you know.
Yeah.
And then I got to this point where I would try to be so perfect, like
Yes.
everything in my video. My hair was perfect,
Yeah.
the words were perfect, the post was perfect, everything about it. And then I got to this point where I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like I cared,
And that's
but I
freeing.
didn't care. You know,
It's so
Yeah.
freeing. I'm sure
Yeah.
that frees up so much of your time, because I can't imagine trying to make everything in a video perfect. I'm
No.
like,
And
you would
nobody
probably
really
have-
cares
No.
as much
Yeah,
as you think
no one's
they do.
gonna
No one
notice if
cares.
you have like a flyaway in your hair, like you're
or you
something's out of
stumbled over a
place.
word and it re-record. No,
exactly.
don't do that.
But
Yeah.
taking like 500 takes to get like one perfect video,
Well, it's
never going to be
exhausting.
perfect.
It's exhausting, and honestly, if
And
you're
then you
recording
post
like,
nothing.
yeah, right,
Exactly.
Or if you film like a 3-minute, 4-minute video and you mess up at the end, I bet you people didn't watch all the way to the end anyways.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like it doesn't really matter. And at the end of the day, what people want to see is authenticity. And I'm certainly not perfect, you know, and I make that known.
Right.
It's okay to mess up.
People would rather watch somebody that's imperfect anyways.
Yeah.
So how would you say, like, on average, how much time you do invest and spend on social media in a typical day?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I wake up at 5 a.m. every day, and I sit there and I have my coffee, and I kind of have like a trajectory for the day of like what my social media content's going to look like. Not exactly what I'm going to post, but when I'm going to post and what. So like in the morning, social media and the news is just filled with like negative.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So the way that I look at the morning post is like trying to celebrate, you know, in my clients' successes. So my morning post is always happy and uplifting. You know, someone sold their house or someone got an offer accepted, and here was their story, you know, to even go along with that. So that's how I typically start with the mornings, and then throughout the day, I'm just trying to keep people engaged on my story. Sometimes that kind of falls to the wayside depending how busy you get, but I try really hard to keep up with that if I can, just so they can kind of see what I have going on throughout the day. And then the last post of the day is typically like a branded post or some sort of educational post. And when I say branded, I just mean something that is maybe kind of just quirky. It has to do with shoes, tying
Yeah.
into real estate in a certain way. you know, something that's just kind of on brand. And then the other post would just be educational, trying to keep people informed, right? So they trust you. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
those morning posts though, I mean, and this is why I only have Facebook and Instagram. I cannot.
Same with me. Same with me.
Yeah,
Don't
I
have the time.
wouldn't want to keep track of like 5 platforms.
There's
It's
so
like,
many.
these 2 are enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they are enough. I
Yes.
actually,
Yeah.
I
And
think
it's
Instagram's
working
the best
for
of
you.
them.
Well,
you know?
yes, and that's where my audience is.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So like, I don't see the point in me trying to take the energy and putting it into another platform
Yeah.
and learning all that.
Right.
To me, that sounds stressful.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but I mean, it does take a while to go type up the entire post. I've learned to type it in my notes first,
Okay.
and then post it, because I've had too many times where it's like you take all this time typing it up and then it gets deleted or it doesn't post for some reason. So I type it up
Yeah.
and then I post it to Facebook and then Instagram and then you share it to the store. You know, there's all these things
Yes.
you got to do. So yeah, I mean, it takes up probably about a half hour in my morning.
Yeah.
But you know, worth it. And my clients love it. I mean, I always ask, you know, if they're okay with me sharing, of course. But it's fun for them.
Yeah.
Make it about them.
Right.
Right.
So
That's true.
Is there, so outside of like posting, because I've heard people say before too, like if you really want to grow on social media and like make an impact, it's not only posting you have to do, but also engaging with
Yes.
other people.
Yep.
So is that something that you spend time
Yes.
doing every day as
Yes.
well?
So like if anybody comments on one of my posts, I'm commenting back and acknowledging the fact that they took the time to comment on my posts. I think that's respectful too. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
they're engaging with you, so you should be engaging back, thanking them for, you know, whatever it is that they're commenting on. So
Yeah.
it is good to engage also. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that because like so many people do this and I'm guilty as well, but just the like feature for comments, you know, when people
Yeah.
comment on your post, I'm so guilty of this, but like I think that's so important to respond to the
Yes.
comment and like you said, acknowledge that they took the
Yep.
time to do it instead of just liking it. Like go out of your way to just do a quick
Yeah.
reply and be
Yeah.
like, whether just
Yep.
respond.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the busiest days for me on social media is my birthday, because like I try
Oh
to go
gosh,
and I try to
yes.
like reply to everybody, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just, yes, thank you so much. I hope
I
you're
know.
doing well, because it's so important to make that connection, you know,
Yeah.
not just like you said, just like.
Yeah.
I
No.
agree.
And
in
it's so
turn,
tempting to just like it,
It is,
but
I know,
it's
and it
so
would be
nice
way
to-
quicker.
I know. Oh my gosh.
But
Because it
it's
is
important.
overwhelming. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I feel like I'm not even seeing all the messages that get all jumbled together. And
I know.
it's like,
Yep.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
But it really does make a difference to receive that response back. That's like, thank you for noticing this in the video, or like, I'm really glad you had that takeaway,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, responding to whatever they commented.
Yeah.
But like them knowing that like you took the time to engage back and
Yep.
like start a conversation.
Well, and then they'll
kinda.
continue to engage, right?
Yeah.
Like on other future posts.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I mean, I think my marketing gal said this, like your algorithm increases and you show up more on their feeds too.
Yep.
I'm
That's
no
true.
marketing
That is
specialist,
true.
But I think that's true. Yeah.
I have a quick question out of curiosity. Thinking back on all of the posts that you've ever made, was there a post or a video that you did that significantly got a lot of traction or somehow
Yeah,
got you a lead
like a
that turned into a
specific
client?
example.
Or even one where you were like, that was really good.
Yeah.
I liked that one.
Like
Yeah.
pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me think here. Gosh. One video, it wasn't a video, I guess it was just a post, kind of
Yeah.
like what I refer to like the branded posts. I had drawn up a large sign that said, listen to your realtor, not Zillow.
Okay, yes.
Love.
And I was like standing on the side of Highway 65, which
Yeah.
is very busy, and holding it up in my red heels. And that post
Love it.
got a lot of traction, a lot,
I
Yeah.
love that so
a lot
much.
of engagement. But yeah, I mean, I think that regardless of what the content is, just showing up consistently, like you had said, is get you business. I've had a few times where clients have reached out to me and they called me because of what they saw on my page. So I think it's important to know your main audience when you're on social media is the people you know.
Yeah.
However, there are people that check in on your page every so often and might pick up the phone call because of what they're seeing on your page. So that's one of the reasons it's so important to also stay consistent.
Right, because it is like an online resume.
It is,
If somebody
absolutely.
like got a
Yep.
referral for you,
Yep.
had never met you, what are they going to do? They're
Yep.
going to Google you, look at your page, and be
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, maybe
Yep.
I should call her.
Yes.
So
Right.
exactly.
Yep, and I've had that happen 2 times specifically this year, both with listings.
Love it.
I had no idea who they were, but they were like, hey, I went to your page and, you know, all this stuff came up and I really liked it. We want to work with you.
Yeah.
So,
You really never know who's seeing your stuff. Like it's not just your followers, it's not just the people who engage with it, but like so many people
Yeah.
could come across it in so many different ways.
yep. And even the people that it's like we're friends with so many people that we don't talk to on a regular basis or even see, right? Like, I know this person if I see them in the hallway. Like, I would, hey, you know, we're friends on social media, but that's about it. That is your main audience, but it does, I mean, they're following you and they're likely going to use you because they're seeing you come up all the time. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
So with social media, I mean, you have a very strong personal brand and I love it. Like any post that I see of you or even how you're dressed today, like black with red lipstick and bright heels, like so on brand for you. So why is it so important, do you think, to build your personal brand, and how do you do it so successfully?
Well, I think, yes, having a brand is very important, especially in an industry where we're flooded, right? There's tons of realtors out there, so it's important to find ways to kind of stand out. But ultimately, having a brand gives like what you do and who you are an identity, and helps you to remain, you know, top of mind. So, like you said, it makes you memorable. So like the shoes, the red shoes.
Yeah, people are like, oh, the shoe girl.
Yes,
like,
yes. And the first time someone said that to me, oh, you're the realtor with the red heels, like that was crazy to me. I was like, oh, wow, so it does work.
It works.
You know? And you have to stick to it, right? Stay consistent with it. It builds credibility, you know?
Yeah.
If it's constantly showing up and you're making people remember you. So.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even with the cup thing too, like when I asked if you wanted a white or a black cup,
Yeah.
like I knew you were going to say black and I've only met you a couple times.
Yes.
I know.
Yes. Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
it's been really fun, you know, kind of creating my own brand. I didn't know that it was going to work out the way that it did.
Right.
Just quickly how I came up with it. I was sitting on my bed and I was watching Netflix and I was trying to figure out just that. How do I brand myself as an agent? And I look over in my closet and I see my red heels. Like that's all I saw. And like it just came into my mind. It's like there's no place like home. It's like modern day Dorothy.
Love it.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I got
much.
super excited. I jumped up out of my bed. I ran to the living room to go grab my husband and I said, Derek, I've got it. And he was like, what? And I'm like, red high heels, there's no place like home.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he goes, huh. Kind of weird. And I'm like, is it though? Like, is it? Because now I have just face for every single pair of heels that I ever buy. And I'm gonna stick to that.
Yeah.
So, and then it just kind of took off from there, and it's been great. So, and I do love a good pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it all goes back to like the authenticity piece that you talked about, like within your videos, but also in your brand. Like everything is so authentically you that it just makes sense and it's natural too.
Yeah.
Like if you try to base your personal brand, if you saw someone else wearing red high heels and then you're like, that's going to be my brand, but you didn't like, that's not something that's you, it doesn't work. But you just saw them in your closet and you're like, yes, this is
I
it.
know.
Yep.
I'm a heels girl too. How can I capitalize on this?
There's
Love
a way.
my heels.
Yeah, there's a way.
So good. Oh my gosh. So also, this is a huge question, but we have a lot of listeners that are real estate agents and some of them are newer in the business. What would you say is your key to creating a successful real estate business?
Yeah.
Or keys.
Yes.
Keys, yes.
I mean, yes, there's a few. So, I mean, consistency is probably the biggest one, alongside of discipline. I think a lot of people get into this business because they think that there's a ton of flexibility, which there is flexibility, but it's only going to work if you hold yourself accountable.
Right.
And I think really the biggest thing is pairing yourself with a group of individuals that have the same goals, ideas, and mindset as you.
Yeah.
You have to be around other agents or people in the industry that are supportive of you and helping you grow your business and are able to bounce ideas off of. I think who you surround yourself with is the most important thing.
Right, that's true. And you are a solo agent.
Yes.
You do not have a team.
No.
Who are your main people that you collaborate with and get your fuel from?
Yeah. Is it just people in the office?
Yeah,
Or?
I would say there's a couple agents in my office that I talk to every day. We have a group chat going.
That's good.
So our group chats to either bounce ideas off each other or vent a little bit.
Yeah,
That's very
you gotta
important.
have your people.
Yes.
Yeah.
My broker Chris is absolutely incredible.
Okay.
And I know that I could speak for probably everybody that's ever met Chris when I say that. I mean, he's fantastic. He's just the most easygoing, well thought, like very thoughtful guy, and he's great to have around as a broker and a mentor too. So
Right,
yeah.
that's true. Any other keys to? I mean, it's
Growing
tough,
that
right?
successful
'Cause it always
business.
goes back to
Yeah.
the person. It, and your values. And like, I like what you said about discipline too. I can tell
about
you're a very
wine?
disciplined person. Yes,
Yeah,
wine. Wine and
Yes.
heels go really well
Yes.
together.
Yep. Wine is key. No. Yes.
Any preferred brands?
Yeah.
No.
Anything red. red.
I love it. Oh my
That's
gosh.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
that's true,
overall,
too.
I mean, this kind of goes along with your keys, but if you could leave the audience with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Show up every day. Every day, show up whether you want to or not. You know, your biggest potential for business is right in front of you, and it's free. You know, so if you can just figure out a way to really use social media as a way to impact other people, like that is going to be the key to growing a business, I think. Easiest way to be in front of people.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think also like how you have preached the whole episode is like being true to you and building a brand that makes sense to you. Because I know when we've talked before too, you've said like that you are very close and involved with the people at your gym. And that's like a great way to also build your business.
Yes.
But it's investing your time into social media, but also into activities like in person that are still authentically you and letting relationships blossom
happen,
organically.
right? Yes. Yeah. My gym, I mean, I go, that's my outlet, you know, so I
Yeah.
go there every day, and not only on social media, but it's like you go there, and I don't even talk about real estate. It's just that you become friends with people. They add you on social media. They're going to see
Yes.
what you're doing organically. So you don't need to do a sales pitch. You know what I mean? They're going
Yeah.
to see it. And if you're showing up every day and being consistent with it, you're going to get business from that. And then they're going to refer their friends to you, or their friends are going to add you on social media. And it's just only going to snowball from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say, honestly, one of my best tips is to focus on those people more than getting brand new random leads that find you through a hashtag or a post. I pulled numbers for myself, and I've got just over 120 closings that are what I would call social media influenced.
Love it.
Meaning that I know them and they're friends with me on social media, or they saw my stuff on social media and referred their friend to me because of it.
That's so
Yeah.
impressive.
But then listen to this. Only 5 closings have happened from someone finding me on a hashtag or randomly on my page.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's really important to note, is that, you know, for the most part, don't try to find all these new people. Focus on the people that are in front of you.
Yeah.
you know?
Yes. Love on your sphere.
Exactly. Yeah. It makes a huge difference. So
Yeah.
That's so true.
I love that.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, this has been so great, Alex.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much for coming
Yeah,
on. We learned
yeah.
a lot.
It's been so much fun. We love chatting with
Yeah,
you.
thank you for
Yeah.
having me. I appreciate it. And thank you for the black mug.
Yes, of course. I just like to see a lot of social media
Okay,
posts with
perfect.
that
Yes.
mug in your cars
Yes,
and doing your
yep,
videos.
I can
yeah,
do
'cause
that.
It fits into the cup holder.
Okay, perfect. She's like, I know.
All right.
Love it. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.